Greetings and salutations, this is Jarsz, the biggest YouTuber ever! And good morning, Jarsholes! Welcome to another edition of the Daily Jarsz for Tuesday, the 7th of November, 2023. That makes it the first Tuesday in November, and hence Melbourne Cup Day, a day when the nation stops for 3 minutes to get drunk, lose money, and watch a horse race. A special shout out to those who clicked subscribe yesterday. Welcome to the world of Jarsz. I hope you enjoy the show. Today, we're looking at one of the most stubborn of the flat earthers. Here's a clue.
Interesting.
But before we get into him, I want to thank my YouTube members. Thanks once again for all that you do for me, and thanks for being part of the huge Jarsz movement. Jeranism, or Jaron Campanello, as is his full name, don't worry, I'm not doxing, it's well known, is the conspiracy nutter type of flurf. Winner of the second ever Dumb Fellow of the Year award from Red's Rhetoric in 2016, Jaron is getting deeper into the rabbit hole, which is probably a clue as to who his Papa Flurf is now that Bob is no longer with us. Some would say that he's become more reasonable in recent times, having actual discourses with the likes of FTFE and MC Toon, who accept that the Behind the Curve documentary deceptively edited his interesting experiment. That doesn't disprove the results of that experiment, of course. Lately, he's been concentrating on debates with his Debatism, which is a pretty dumb name, but that's his name, and actively encouraging sane people to join the Flat Earthers to discuss the shape of the Earth, as we saw with Ruhif on Saturday's Daily Jarsz. However, based on some DMs Ruhif alluded to, Jaron is still heavily indoctrinated in baseless idiocy. Basically, there's no truth that Jaron won't ignore to maintain his fantasy. Let's have a look at a hilariously self-debunking attack Jaron put on his channel from some other creator about Simon Dan.
You know, once you start paying attention and have an open mind, pay attention.
Let's pay attention then, everyone. Yeah, a probe crashed into an asteroid. What's hard to believe about that?
And for some reason, that's cause for laughter. It was confirmed by independent astronomers on Earth. They saw that they focused their telescopes on the asteroid and saw the impact. It's been confirmed easily. You could have done it yourself, you idiot.
The Earth was eclipsed by the moon. Easy.
And I really don't understand why they're laughing. I don't see the joke in the Earth being eclipsed by the moon. That makes no sense.
A Mercury spacewalk, I believe, where they had movable helmets.
Again, where's the joke?
Orion going around the moon. So what?
Again, absolutely. What is the joke?
SpaceX put a car in space. Totally believable.
Oh my god, dude.
Now watch the clever editing coming. Well, I shouldn't say clever because it's not clever. The deceitful editing coming up. He patches in a conversation with Elon Musk, and it makes it look like Elon Musk is disbelieving what he's seeing from the car that he put up himself.
Dead.
Jesus.
So
Wait, is that a
fucking
real
dead.
picture?
So that's
Jeez, is that true?
that's delightful.
So what they really were looking at was a picture of a deer that had drowned in a pool. And they deceptively edited it to make it look like the very thing that Elon Musk paid billions of dollars for was fake. How deceitful can you be?
Oh my god, dude.
Epic discover, 1 million miles away from Earth.
You know what I find that's laughable? That this chick would have anything to do with this guy.
Clearly a sped up section of video.
Yes, and as we saw in that video, the spacecraft was maneuvering slightly with its thrusters, and that's why it looked jerky. And sped it up, it accentuated that. Why are you guys not getting this? Are you flurfs really that stupid?
A spacewalk, not unusual.
Well, to be fair, spacewalks have only been done by a handful of people, a handful of times. But from that, the concept of ISS operations, it is not unusual.
SpaceX landing a rocket. Clever sods.
What? Is that actually happened?
Of course it happened. I think this
Of course it happened. Elon Musk paid for it.
is a reflection of how just
Oh my god.
dark we've become.
Oh my.
Yes, they're talking about a reindeer that drowned in a pool. That's what he means by dark. The fact that we're showing a picture of that. But yeah, just so deceptive.
A lot of
A real personal incredulity slideshow, that one, wasn't it?
Absolutely, Dan. Absolutely. It's worthy of Level Earth Observer himself. I think that's just about it.
That's the worst footage ever.
What? Is that actually happened?
of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how just
Oh my god.
dark we've become.
Oh my
A
god.
lot of weird forces at odds.
So somehow he's made a point by splicing in a video about something else with this one. To me, that's deception. And if you need deception to make your point, you don't have a valid point. Flurfs lie. Gotta lie to Flurf. God, that annoys me. All right, let's look at the next one. And speaking of deception, this one is entitled. God, it's hurts my brain to think about this. Jeranism and Dearth school Brad Olson. The fact that those two idiots could school anyone it makes me feel so. Just makes me laugh. Unfortunately, Jeran doesn't talk much in this one. It's more about Dearth, so we have to suffer through him for a while. But let's have a look. Oops, where's my cursor gone?
So they came up with the idea of expanding space. They said, well, what if we're on a balloon? A bunch of dots on a balloon. If you blow that up, they all get further away from each other, right? And then they just went with that one. They never went the other direction. Why? Because they based their entire science on a worldview. I don't know what your belief is in a creator, if you think this is all accidental and some big bang happened billions of years ago. I'm not really sure your position there, but we can crash a plane a trillion times. It's never going to make anything. It's never going to create something. But somehow explosions in the sky created planets, created gas planets.
Isn't that exactly what people who believe in a creator say? God poofed the universe into existence. And that's a world view as well. So you can't attack one, which isn't an accurate way of looking at it, by using your accurate way of looking at your worldview.
planets, created people, created oceans. I think there's more intelligence behind this than that. But they really want to sell us on the idea.
What is your basis for that there's more intelligence? I mean, look at the human body. We've got lots of vestigial organs in us. Why? Why wouldn't God make us perfect the first time around? What's the point?
That there's not. They really want to sell us on the idea that that this is all accidental. That and that these guys are so smart nowadays. We live in a 50-year period of time that these guys can calculate the age of the Earth. They can calculate how long ago the Big Bang was. And we're really worshiping men if we believe in that. You don't have it.
What's your evidence for that? I mean, the fact that they have evidence for these things you're saying proves that it's not a worship thing, because there's actually evidence for it. Worship is based on faith, which is belief without evidence. If you have evidence for it, it's not a faith.
Any evidence of that? You're just being told by Neil deGrasse Tyson that, hey, we can rewind the sky clock.
That guy. No, they edit things out.
Yes, an appeal to authority or appeal to popularism. Personally, I don't really watch Neil deGrasse Tyson, so you can't tell me I'm being brainwashed by him. I don't pay attention to him. By the way, I'm speeding this one up. As you can see, it's 9 minutes 37, and we want to get through these.
Of course. And he obviously has his benefactors who
Of course.
give him a script to read, so we don't really have to quote him at all for ill or,
No, you
or
don't.
bad. But this is what I want to find out from you guys. Remember in 1961, Ham the Chimp was the first in outer space, and then Yuri Gagarin from Soviet Union, and then we had our Mercury missions, and then the Apollo mission, and now we have the space station and videos from up there. What do you guys think that all is then? Is that all just make-believe or what?
Do you believe we went to the moon?
A black hole of flurfs, say, man? More like a singularity of dumb. Just watch what Dirth says.
I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just saying there has been a long history from Ham the Chimp and people going into low Earth orbit. That's all you need to do. We don't even have to talk about the moon. Low Earth orbit, and you'd be able to see the curvature. And there are videos, guys. There are a lot of videos from outer space showing a rotating spherical Earth.
We'd love to see one when you have one.
And it's a round Earth that covers.
What do you mean? You wouldn't be able to see from the ISS?
You've been shown them plenty of times, Dirth. You just ignore them. So what's the point?
You wouldn't be able to see around Earth. What do you mean?
Yeah, you would.
Jaren, pretty much every image from the ISS shows that the Earth is round.
No, they say that you can't.
Videos they're picking up.
Oh, you're talking about
going around the Earth.
Okay, that's with a curved lens. That's with a GoPro lens. You're talking.
Some of them are, but just the fact that you have a lens doesn't mean it's not filming something that's curved.
You mean like on a balloon when they get up there and they see
Brad, let me ask you a question. If we catch NASA faking zero gravity or faking things on the space station once, is that enough to start questioning if what they're doing up there, if they're even up there?
But you guys still haven't answered my question.
Well, before he attempts to answer the question, which he won't, caught NASA faking once. You think they're faking, but you never prove it. You just assume they are because it's what you want them to be doing. You've got to give evidence that they're faking it. And when you're looking at videos from documentaries made by third parties, you can't use that as evidence. You got to use the original stuff from NASA.
Question: has any human being been up there to witness it? Just
no,
out of the atmosphere where they're weightless.
I don't believe that exists.
Well,
you don't believe that exists.
You would believe that weightlessness exists if somebody was falling, right? If somebody's falling towards Earth, would you believe that they're weightless?
Well, that's the way to do it. They simulate in a
zero G plane
dropping. But what about the weightlessness outside of the gravity of Earth? So,
like who has been there?
Yeah, where are you talking about?
Do you believe there?
Well, technically, the ISS is not outside the gravity of Earth. The reason it's orbiting is because of the gravity of Earth. Flurfs can't get their head around that, though.
Has ever been a single astronaut or even Ham the Chimp that experienced weightlessness in outer space?
No.
Yes or no?
No, maybe a zero G plane.
No. Okay.
Zero G plane, maybe.
Zero G plane can do it for like 45 seconds at most. Otherwise, it's going to crash into the Earth. So we've had live streams for over an hour uncut from the ISS. It's clearly not a zero G plane. You're just using that as an excuse that you can tell your idiot followers.
We're going on many decades of humans going into space of several
many decades
of doing
every one of those
lying to us.
So what has the ISS done? What has the ISS?
Where's the evidence that they've been lying? You never presented any. You just presented things that you think are evidence, and then we debunk it because it's so easy to debunk. You're looking at it from the lens of conspiracy. Why don't you look at it from the lens of truth instead?
Accomplished 21 years in orbit. What? $150 billion. What has it done?
Who cares about that? I'm just saying.
Well,
if you guys can't even say that a human has been in outer space, or even Ham the Chimp, then I can't get rid of you guys either.
So hang on. We're looking for evidence,
and that's an excellent point. Things that are established facts don't need to be questioned. If you can't even agree on the established facts, you're clearly not trying. You're not interested in the truth. And my cursor's frozen up again.
Of this, and the best evidence we can find is on the International Space Station. Let me just show you a couple of clips here. So here's Don Pettit, who's showing us how he
in this format. What is the point of showing a clip? It's so tiny you can't see anything. Not to mention the quality is pretty low.
made a bag, made a coffee bag. Well, watch carefully. This is done on a 0G plane, and something went wrong with the CGI. Watch the color in the bag. It offset.
Oh my God. First of all, you can get that sort of effect. It's got nothing to do with that particular situation. It's just a compression artifact. The original, I'm sure, doesn't have that. In fact, I'd probably make a rather large bet on that. He's taken this off YouTube where it's been compressed to hell and the color doesn't work. You don't have to know much about video to understand that this sort of thing happens all the time. And it doesn't have to be in space that you're filming. But he picked it up because he wants it to be evidence.
Offset from that.
And I might point out, this is the first thing he's presenting, so this must theoretically be his best evidence.
What does that show us? That shows us that they're lying about something. So then we have another scene.
No, it shows that equipment has failures sometimes.
We have Chris Hatfield, who loves playing his guitar, and this guy, the one guy's upside down, and they're in different rooms and different green screens, and he mistakes where Chris is, and he sticks a microphone right into his neck.
And again, compression artifact. If we get the original, I bet that doesn't happen.
It's inside of his neck, and this is obvious.
And there's two things about that. Well, Dirth is deliberately lying. He's choosing things and misrepresenting them. All Flirth evidence is misrepresentation or misunderstanding of reality. I bet this is from a documentary. So they would have taken the original, edited it to shit, and then it's compressed and put on YouTube. So many things have happened to this video since it was originally filmed. First of all, if NASA is the head of this massive conspiracy to hide the shape of the Earth, don't you think they'd be better at this sort of thing than that? Second of all, if they're going to, why would they make this mistake? Something that goes through someone's neck? I mean, clearly that shows that there's an error.
Obvious green screen usage. Here's another one.
Stanley Kubrick shot scenes of the moon that they used and they shouldn't have. But
right, but
look,
this is a lot.
I agree with you guys.
Hang on. I'm going to show you a bunch of fakery, and then we haven't been able to find anything.
Yeah, there's fakery.
Yeah.
You haven't shown any fakery yet, and this was supposed to be your first ones, which theoretically should be your best.
All right, so watch this. So this is that's not the one I wanted, but this guy's head is transparent when he comes around. It's showing that they're using layering because there's no right-hand turn on a 0G plane.
No, that one's from a documentary, and it's just editing.
Right?
Green screen fakery. What's your point?
Yeah,
I don't doubt.
Go back to the original, and you'll see something different.
That NASA and other space agencies want to make themselves look good, want to justify their big budgets, and they put out crap like this, and that's wrong. That's deception.
And you put out crap like this. I mean, look how small the screen is that we're supposed to be looking at. Jared, can't you put it up here or something?
So you're just saying that they're justifying their budget
is one way of doing it. Yeah, one reason why. Can't make sense of the story, follow the money. That's the old journalist adage. So they're fake. Why wouldn't they just, if they're on the space station, why wouldn't they just send us some video? Watch under his arm. He moves a little too fast and reveals the green screen. Yeah. Okay.
So
I'm not doubting you guys that this is probably all fakery. Why do they have to do it? I don't know.
Okay, so
to justify their budget, to show that why did they release some of Kubrick's clearly fake moon stuff?
Great question.
And now NASA has destroyed all the footage. Yeah, of course they bullshit, but they didn't want to look bad. Look, this is a space race in the Cold War, and they had to say, "Hey, look, we did it. We pulled this off. We're better than the Soviets."
Hold on. So think about this real quick. When you talk about that, you do realize that the Soviets tell a totally different story. The Soviets don't teach their students, "Oh, the United States beat us, and we're just scumbags who didn't win." They teach their students that they were first in space, first woman in space, first animal in space, first orbit in space. So each country got.
But all those are taught in the US as well. That the Soviets did that. What's your point?
To tell their own version of the story. It was agreed upon ahead of time. That was all a fabrication. Real quick, I just want to show you this thing here. This is the Chinese space station that they just filmed the other day. And you can see here, if you watch this film, that it's completely fake because, watch this. What's happening here, Brad? So the thing is, for this Earth to do this, it means that they're using some sort of either a panoramic.
No, Jaron, this is a stupid argument. You are basically saying because they can fake something, they have faked something. You need to prove that they actually faked it. Proving that they can fake it is not enough.
Camera or a fisheye lens, but you'll notice that the space station itself doesn't change. It doesn't morph. It doesn't lose its solidity. So
now we go into the copyright music, and the rest of the video is just showing how it could be faked. And like I said, it doesn't matter that it could be faked. You've got to show evidence that it actually was. You have not done that. Without evidence, it must be rejected without evidence. I'm getting myself worked. Should I get myself worked up? I got worked up over Leo yesterday. What do you guys think? Do you like me when I get worked up? Or do you want me to have a more calm and reasoned approach to these videos? The stupidity gets to me. Maybe I shouldn't do that. I mean, given my size, a heart attack my heart's doing a hard job as it is. So anyway, the next one. So I said that he's going deep inside the rabbit hole. This one is entitled 666. Who does the royal family worship? Is King Charles III the Antichrist? Check the dates.
Hello everyone, it's Jarsz from Jeranism, back with yet another video for you today. Very short video, I promise you that. Just want to ask a question and show you something interesting. That question is, who does the royal family actually worship? And I'll tell you why here in a second. But did you...
First of all, why does it matter? Who cares? How does that change your life? How does it change anything?
know that there is a rumor that King Charles III is the Antichrist.
King Charles, a rumor. So he's basing this entire video on a rumor, not evidence, just a rumor.
Well, not that, King Charles. Can we get to the right? Thank you very much. There we go. Yes, believe it or not, there is a rumor that King Charles III is the Antichrist. And according to author Tim Cohen, who wrote the book The Antichrist in a Cup of Tea in January of 1988, King Charles is...
January 1988. So one person in all of history, and that was, what's that, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Don't you think if he actually was the Antichrist, that would have been obvious by now? And Antichrist as a concept isn't based on anything. It's just medieval nonsense. Why would you base your worldview today on medieval nonsense?
The only one, and is indeed the actual Antichrist. And he has many points that he uses, or reasons why, including his name adding to 666 in both the Hebrew and the English gematria.
No, it doesn't. Let me show you something. Hang on, so I can get it to come over. Yep. I went to a name, oops, let me maximize that. A name numerology free online calculator. Sorry, my voice is going. It's all this stupidity's getting me. Charles's first name is Charles Philip Arthur George Windsor. And that calculates a 651. I don't know how you get 666 from it, but you're wrong, Jaron. And you're basing this video and the things that you're telling to your idiot followers on something that's clearly wrong. What's happening here?
I'm looking for the book and could only find crazy prices. It's not available on Amazon. The thrift books, I saw it for $340, $350. Went to Abe Books as well, and I believe
a book. So what? He's calling conspiracy, is he? I mean, there it is. There, it's available, isn't it? He said it was not available on Amazon. Well, a lot of books that are 35 years old aren't available on Amazon either.
The minimum there was $4 something, if I'm not mistaken. There we go, yeah, $486, $64. So very expensive book. Obviously, there's $391, but for the most part, very expensive. So I'm wondering what that book has to say. He also pointed out the coat of arms. If you look here at the coat of arms, it's got the 10 lions, the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion, the 4 crowns, the eyes of a man on the white horse, the red dragon, all that.
What the hell does any of this mean? What does this show you? What's this got to do? What's this got to do with the Antichrist? I mean, look at this. Just nonsense. 4 crowns. Yes, well, there's 4 countries in the United Kingdom. 10 lions. I'm not sure what that represents, but heraldry is all sorts of stuff. Black Prince, no, that's actually the fleur de lis from, it was the emblem. He took it on. Yes, the Welsh dragon, the Scottish lion. Or is it? Yeah, it's a Scottish lion, the lion rampant. And I don't recall what the unicorn represents. But yes, Order of the Garter, Honi Soit qui mal y pense. what has this got to do with anything? And he says white horse, and yet he points out that it's a unicorn. So it's not a white horse. It's just a white unicorn. Different species, apparently.
The man on the white horse, the red dragon, all there. And I actually went and looked. I wanted to look at what a leopard looked like, what bear feet look like, what lion's feet look like. And they got
he pointed to the rampant lion's feet as bare feet, and they didn't look like that, did they?
point. It seems to be that they are, that's exactly what that heraldry or that coat of arms is supposed to resemble or look like. Again, depends on your theory here. I believe that they play into this prophecy, and it's just another example of that. How about this? The king's coronation cross includes wood from Jesus.
You're welcome to believe it, Jaron, but if you want other people to believe it, you've got to present some evidence.
Jesus' actual cross. Makes a lot of sense, huh? A gift from the Catholic Church and the Pope to King Charles III. So lots of interesting things going on here. Let's get to some more. Also pointed out was the fact that there was a full moon on the eve of the coronation, which was 5/5/23 and 5.
Yeah, that makes that changes everything. That's proof positive, isn't it? God's sake.
5 is 10 and 23 is 33. And still, just nothing really compelled me. Everything was just kind of loose, kind of, I guess so. Let's watch this.
I here present unto you King Charles, your undoubted king.
And this wait, hold on. I recognize that guy.
You realise he's not.
That's Mr. Humphreys, right? From Are We Being Served? You guys remember?
Where's Mr. Humphreys? Is he free? I'm free.
You've got penetrating eyes.
So actually, that was rather nice by the Grace brothers to give him the day off so he could, God help the king.
Yeah, that was a great point, Jaron. Achieved a lot to further your case.
And so then I stumbled on the one thing that compelled me to make this video, because I know it had to be done on purpose. I don't think there's any other possibility, and it may help us answer the question of who exactly do the royal family worship. So let's take a look. We're going to be looking at the dates between the Queen's funeral, which was 9/19 of 22, and of course the King's coronation, which
so now he's going to make something out of nothing.
Was 5/6 of this year, 23. Okay, so let's just look at that real quick. How much time is between those two dates?
So why those two events? The coronation doesn't mean anything. He was already the king. It's when Parliament proclaims you that makes you the king. So why does this even matter? What about the difference between their birth dates? Is that 666? Watch how stupid he gets. And why does he write the dates around the wrong way? Why don't you use the international standard so the entire world can watch your video and understand what the hell you're talking about?
Is it 666 days? No, it's not 666 days. It's less than a year. So let's start playing with some numbers here. All right, so we take that date of the Queen's funeral, 9/19, and go through 10/19, call that a month, from 10/19 to 11/19, from 11/19 to 12/19, from 12/19 to 1/19, 1/19 to 2/19.
Note he's adding an extra day each time. Why?
You get the point here, and we get all the way till we take these and we call this 6 months. So 6 months in between the date that we have there. Now we'll take the last date there, which was...
Just call it 6 months, He's not really being very precise, is he? A flirt not being precise? Wow.
3/19/23. Let's go one more day, so get to 3/20. And then we can do by weeks. So 3/20 to 3/26, we're just adding 6 to each number. Is 1 week. 3/27 through plus 6 would be 4/3. So through 4/2. Sorry, there's 31 days in March. Is week number 2. From the 3rd through the 9th.
Note he's added a day here because he wanted to get the weeks to match up exactly.
Would be 3 weeks. From the 10th through the 16th. From the 17th through the 23rd. And from the 24th until 30th. 30 days in April. And we can add those up. And again, we get to 6 weeks now. So it's 6 months, 6 weeks, and then we've got 5/1 would be the next day. 5/2, 5/3.
Yeah, but you ignored this day. So you've got 6 months, 6 weeks, and a day, and then you've got to count 6 more days to the 6th of May. So it's actually 667. Fluffs don't maths.
Before you get the point now, 5/5/5/6. What do you know? It was 6 months, 6 weeks, and 6 days from the Queen's funeral.
And even if that meant anything, why wouldn't you do it in minutes or seconds? You're finding something that you want to see.
Until the King's coronation. So, do I think there's any possibility, any chance at all, that this is a coincidence? No.
Well, you might not think that, but you haven't really provided any evidence for that. You've just come up with some crazy conspiracy theories.
I think not. So,
yes, you don't think. If you did, you wouldn't have bothered making this video.
So, who do they worship? Well, it seems pretty obvious to me. And at the same time,
and yet you haven't said.
These inbreds love to play into prophecy as well. So who knows?
And, you're effectively saying they worship the devil based on the number of days between the Queen's death and the coronation. The coronation was on a Saturday. It had to be on a Saturday. They couldn't plan when she died unless they killed her. And why would you bother killing a 96-year-old lady? And what does it achieve? And why would, even if it, how does that prove anything? It's just crazy. Just utter nonsense. And like I said, he goes down the rabbit hole and just talks nonsense. And I think Dearth is a massive influence on him now. Bob's gone. At least Bob had some sense. Dearth's a complete lunatic. To be honest, I don't know if I want to continue doing this. I think I've had enough of Jaron. Let's go to Meme Roundup. Oh, second best Bob. Thank you so much. Yes. Super chat for £6.66. Scary number. Ooh. Thank you for that. So I presume, I don't know if there's any other dream worlds in the world. There's one half an hour's drive south of me. Wake up, they're telling you, but you're not paying attention. Why would they tell you if it's all a massive conspiracy? Why would they leave clues everywhere? It's the dumbest conspiracy ever if they're doing that. And if it's the dumbest conspiracy ever, why would it last? Dad, why is the sky blue? Oh, I get it. Yeah, this looks exactly the same as that. Why do they think people will fall for this nonsense? Now, this is a really stupid down the rabbit hole conspiracy nutter stuff. What happened to Amelia Earhart? Well, they plot her course on the flat Earth map, and they're saying, oh, she proved the Earth is flat, so she was murdered. In fact, I've got a response to that. In fact, I nearly facepalmed myself then. Oh, dear. So what about all the people who've given evidence that proves the Earth is a globe? They haven't killed them. Now this one, Ghost Gone, he's someone I think I'll have a look at Flirfs on the X platform at some point, and he's one of them. He posts the silliest crap. How the Nile River climbs in a ball. Well, I'm not sure how this shows that. But the Nile River famously runs south to north. Why do Flirfs think... Oh, by the way, where's Wally? Thank you very much for all these memes. Once again, we might have to call this Where's Wally's memes. And I'm going to have to do an intro for memes too, aren't I? But why do Flirfs think south is down? and why is there any ocean up in the northern hemisphere at all? If south is down, water would fall off, wouldn't it? And that raises the question, if south is down, that's where gravity pulls water down. What's pulling it? What is it? What's doing it? What's creating that downward force? Too many questions. Flirfs come up with explanations that might address the question at hand, but open up so many other questions that it's obviously not real. This one's hilarious. This is trying to explain how the spotlight sun works. It illuminates the moon as well as it illuminates the ground, but the moon at nighttime in particular in this one. So, oh yeah, it's a very simple way. The light comes down a lens, which is the sun, and illuminates the earth. How can these people even contemplate this enough to do a diagram of it? You know what would be better? A photo of this. So this is a debunker meme from the wonderful flatearth.ws site. It's about perspective and the horizon in particular, which shows, if you follow the perspective lines, that the Earth is dropping away. And that in itself shows that the Earth is curved. Often you see Flirf memes saying, oh no, it's flat forever. No, this proves it's not. It proves it's curving away from you because there's a gap between the horizon and the conversion point. Vergence point, not conversion. Now, this is a new one. We find the one question that Flirfs never answer is if the Earth is flat, how do tides work? What causes the water to come in and out on a regular basis and a predictable basis? And now they're coming up with this. Tides are due to electromagnetic water. not the Earth spinning 1,000 miles per hour in the vacuum of space with no barrier chasing the sun, that has no comet trail with stars that haven't changed since the dawn of time. Tides work by movement of electromagnetic superconductors that are our sun and moon. Okay? Reacting with tidal amplitude nodes in the ocean. All right? Tell me where I can find one of those. I'll go visit it. Therefore, pushing and pulling the magnetically attracted seawater. Well, we should be able to get some magnets out and move water around by ourselves then, shouldn't we? How come no one's ever done that? If you know how to do it, how come we've never done it? It was like I was just saying, they'll come up with the most convoluted rubbish to explain the fact that they can't explain things. Anyway. Now, this is typical Flurf brainwashing. That's Buzz Aldrin, if you don't know who he is. Earth is pear-shaped. You just can't tell. They think it literally means a pear. Whereas the term of pear-shaped, when applied to people at least, means you're a little bit fatter below your waistline than you are on the top. And that's the case for the Earth. The southern hemisphere is a little bit, and it's a tiny bit, bigger than the northern hemisphere. And that's been measured. That's how we know about it. The Earth is just not a perfect sphere. That's the point. There's curvature, but you're just too small to see it. I'll come back to that. In fact, we saw in the previous one about the perspective lines that we could see curvature. And Earth is moving, you just can't feel it. Well, yeah, because it's moving at a constant rate. We always... Do I really need to explain that? I mean, how are people that stupid? In terms of the curvature, here's a better example. You can do this yourself. Now, there's two tubes. If water always finds its level, you line your camera up so that the two tubes' water level is aligned with each other, so you know you're looking out straight at level, and see where the horizon is relative to it. In this case, the horizon is clearly below it, which means the Earth curves away from you. Now, most flirts will, if you show them this, they say, oh, I want to see left to right curve. No, you ask to see curve. This is proof of curve. I can show you left to right, but it's a lot harder because of the field of view. And you really need to do it over water if you're going to do it at all. And then you've got refraction coming into it and so on. And the last meme, I'll just make that bigger. What flat earthers think they sound like? We're here to expose the truth. The Earth is flat. You've been brainwashed by NASA. When what they actually sound like is, Earth looks like pizza. I like pizza. I posted this on the X platform and I've got over 1,000 views, my biggest post ever. So people like this one. Science is hard, yes, for Flurfs at least. Okay, I think that wraps up memes for today. Have you seen a silly meme lately? Send it to me and I'll show it on the stream, if it's fit for general consumption, of course. Contact details are in the description of this video. Let me know who you'd like me to look at in the near future by leaving a comment below. I appreciate all suggestions. I still haven't made up my mind about tomorrow. Actually, no, I have now. I just did that second. I'm going to have a look at Kent Hovind. I looked at Matt Powell a couple of weeks ago. I think it's time we looked at the young Earth creationists again. And Kent Hovind is such a cornucopia of idiocy. Do the YouTube things, like the stream, subscribe, click the join button and become a member. Leave a comment. I love to read your comments. In particular, if you're one of the few who watch my videos who aren't subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button below this video on your screen. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And I think that just about does it. There's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're